Hello gang, Sharpshot21 here. Time for a little Jeep work. So the coil pack on the Jeep is going bad. It is 22, 23 years old, so I mean it's actually done fairly well for itself. But had some pretty bad misfires the other day when I went to take it out. So since I've done the spark plugs and the fuel system, it's going to be the coil pack. Now, there's a few options. Could replace it with a stock coil pack from that Jeep. Now, that would have worked up until I bought this Jeep and had to replace the head on it. As you know, the head on this Jeep is from the generation before. It doesn't have the mounts for the coil pack. I think that's what's contributed to this one failing. So, we're going to go and do the ever popular Dodge Viper coil pack mod. And we're going to do that with a couple parts. And the parts that we're going to use are, I believe the company is Suspension K, or K Suspension. I'll put a link to them down in the bio. They make a bracket for the inline 4 engine for this mod. This is their updated one. It doesn't quite work for mine because up here, there's a bolt hole that you're supposed to use this little bracket to tie into, you guessed it, the coil pack bolt holes on the head, which don't exist for me. So we may see if it'll be fine like that, or I think I'm going to try to tie this hole into the alternator mount hole, or rear alternator mount bolt. They also have this cable. This is their DIY kit, by the way. So you can buy it with just a plate and cable, just the cable. I just bought the plate and the cable because I already had the spark plug wires and the coil. Now this is a pretty common coil. It's out of the 10-cylinder Dodge Viper, but they also use it in a bunch of other 6-cylinder cars. You can get them fairly easily. We're also going to need the crimping tools for spark plug wires, ratchet. These bolts are 9/16. The ones on the engine mounts are 5/8. So we're gonna go get the old coil pack stripped off, and we'll get the this one prepped and ready to go. Come along for the ride. Hopefully you can see it. We're going for that motor mount bolt and the one way down there. This is the factory coil pack. We're going to pull that off. And way back in here somewheres, you can kind of see it, is the plug for the coil pack harness. So let's start stripping this down. I will try to find a good place to put you, and we'll go from there. Alright, so right there is the plug. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt to get out because this coil pack is 1 billion feet long. So I'm going to have to struggle with that for a few minutes and we'll come back. Alright, there's your plug on the coil pack factory. There is the stock one. So to get it out, you got to pull that tab up. This is mounted like that. Pull tab towards you, and then you can push on that clip right there for release. So now that that's out of the way, let's go get this Coilpack trashed and put the grab a wrench and we'll get those bolts out. Pulled the 2 bolts out. I'm gonna put my favorite never sees on there. They go back in these holes. And then this plate mounts just like that. So we'll get to it and I'll show you when we're done. Now this says brake lubricant. It's also silicone grease. This stuff should go in every single electrical connection and connector that you make. So I'm going to put it in both of these. That way it'll cover the connection to the coil and the connection to the engine harness. I'll put it on the boots that go on here, and I'll put a fresh coat on the spark plugs when those go in. Also clean off the old stuff. Let's get this plugged in. So you just take it and you spooge it in the connector. Easy enough. And then the connector will plug in. It will get pushed out of the way for the contacts and it'll keep water from getting into the rest of it. That's why we do this. Same thing with the NECs on the bolt threads. Keeps them from fusing together by a rust. So, Coilpack bolts, those are also going to get NEC'd. We'll go from there. Let me get these NEC'd up and we'll get the Coilpack mounted and plugged in. So, time for spark plug boots. We're going to do these 2 at a time. Starting at 1 and 6. 1 and 6 go on top too. Then 5 and 2 and 4 and 3. So we're gonna clip these, strip these, crimp these, and we'll come back when that's done. Alrighty, so plug wires are in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 way in the back. We'll grab some zip ties after we start this up and see if we actually run. So, what say you? Shall we try this? Alright. Well, that's not right. Okay. Here we go. Voila. I think we're good.
He opened his eyes. Now?
I think we're really good. Alright, I'm gonna go get cleaned up, put stuff away, we'll go for a ride. Alright, well, I think that was a rounding success of a test drive. Sorry, I didn't grab the windshield mount for it, but responsiveness is certainly more improved than on the original Coilpack. It took a second for it to figure it out, but it did. Power definitely feels like there's more there, but that may just be psychological on my part. All in all, probably worth doing. I've also heard you're going to get better fuel economy on this. I'll keep an eye on it this winter when I'm driving this a little more, and we'll do an update then. And probably this winter at some point I will also do replacement fuel injectors because these injectors are hammered. And since I've replaced the fuel filter, I can only imagine the shit that was in that thing when it failed that potentially has gone into these injectors. So we'll get those when we get those, hopefully this winter sometime. But for now, that's all done. Sorry this wasn't as step-by-step as a lot of my stuff. Kind of doing this as a rush. Just to keep cleaning projects off of my docket. I'm trying to get a bunch of them done. But thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll see you next time. If you got questions, drop them down below. You know how I am. And subscribe if you liked it, and like it if you liked it. Found it helpful. All right. Sharps out.
Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. It really helps me out, and it lets you know when I put something new up. New videos will be going up on Tuesdays or Thursdays at 8 a.m. Eastern. And if I do decide to do live streams, I will try to give 24 hours notice. So hit the subscribe button on the channel, and you'll be notified when I post that stuff too. Hope to see you next time. Sharps out.